guys, A from High Fives, High Vibes Tarot. This is your November 2022 Sun, Moon, Rising sign and Venus love reading for the sign of Aquarius. Please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it doesn't resonate, those are too many cards. That's okay. Perhaps next month's message is the one for you. But I've always believed in synchronicity, so there must be something in here that you need to hear today. Thank you for being here. And speaking of, there must be something in here that you need to hear today. The continuation of this reading is in the link in the description box below. One more oracle card for you. And if you want to create your own 3-card spread, you could scroll down through the reading and you can make your own 3-card spread there using the Star Spinner Tarot. If you're still confused, or I do recommend that you would shuffle the cards. You would set an intention before you shuffle the cards, so that, or you could ask a question. This is necessary for you to not see yourself shuffling it all over again, just so you could get the answer that you want to hear. So you could set an intention. May this reading give me an answer to a question, and may it be for my highest good. And then you shuffle the cards. If you get your 3-card spread, you will be given a brief description of the cards. And if it still confuses you, you could send me an email to tarot@highfiveshighvibes.com, so that I could give you a basic interpretation of the reading for free. Okay, so we will do it differently, quite differently this time around. We will have past, present, and future first, and then we will get the clarification using the other deck. The decks used in this reading is also in that link in the description box below, which is the continuation of this reading. Okay. You will not win if you choose to argue with there seems to be an argument in the recent past with your person. If you're in a relationship, there seems to be, I could be connecting with a person who is in a relationship. There is what used to be a petty fight has turned sour, or perhaps this is a constant argument. If this is still a petty argument and it hasn't turned sour, it runs the risk of turning that sour, or not communicating with your person, gaslighting each other. I'm not saying that this is a toxic connection, but what I'm saying is that you run the risk of gaslighting the other, or perhaps you are the one being gaslighted. You could be somebody here is verbally abusing the other, without a victim of a verbal abuse, and it could be you. Somebody could be verbally abusing the other, and the other person doesn't even realize that they are being verbally abused. If you are in this cycle of I want to put that down. If you are in this cycle of argument, constant argument, it's about to turn sour. It runs the risk of not being petty anymore. And if you want to continue with this fight, it seems like you will not be successful at it. It seems like an uphill battle for you. Restlessness, no sense of direction, impatience, more delays. Perhaps for some of you, you could be married and you could be relocating, you could be changing careers, shifting careers, and this is not something that your partner really wants. Something would be on the line, perhaps the education of your child, or perhaps the well-being of the family is at risk for you to pursue. If you would want to pursue a change in career or a career path, your wife or your husband is not happy about it, simply because perhaps the well-being of the child is at risk, or perhaps they would lose their friends, or perhaps they're not really comfortable about a change in lifestyle or a change in life. And a change in the household right now, and there will be more delays, and this causes arguments, lots of arguments, to a point that it's bordering abusive. I'm not saying violent, but I mean physical violence, but more of verbal or mental. It's taking its toll on your mental health and the mental health of the people around you. Yeah, taking matters to your hands, more peace for Five of Wands here. You may not have consulted your person about this. You may have put the matters to your hands and make a decision on your own. Treachery, I am sensing treachery, the energy of treachery, the energy of lying, the energy of, look at her, she's putting a face, masquerade. This is supposed to be the magician, and it's a positive in a sense that you have everything that you need, all the resources you need are with you right now. But in your case, it seems like in the recent past you have used these resources to your advantage without actually taking into consideration the feelings of others. There seems to be a hesitation for you to do something. There seems to be an argument about meeting halfway. Nobody wants to meet the other halfway. Nobody wants to compromise, or perhaps it's you who doesn't want to make the compromise, and so it turns into a petty fight, or it turns into an argument in the most recent past. And I don't see this argument that has stopped currently. It seems like it is still ongoing to a point that it brings you delays, or perhaps there seems to be a lack of communication, a lack of acknowledgement, a lack of accountability, a lack of taking of being accountable with your accountable with your mistakes, being accountable with each other's misgivings. And there seems to be look at her, I'm picking above the energy of self-absorbed here. This could be the person that you are dealing with, but this could also be you. Hesitation to move forward, fear, insecurity, and this insecurity is the one that hides behind that sense, that mask, that it hides behind your intention. Somebody here seems to be very, very afraid or fearful of making the wrong choice, of choosing something. This could also mean that you're afraid of saying yes to yourself, saying yes to your dreams, because the person that you're in relationship with is somebody who is stalling you or not helping you do this. That is one scenario I am seeing, but the other one I am also seeing is that for single individuals could resonate with this. You are fearful to make that first move, or perhaps you don't want to say yes to yourself. I mean, there's something that there's a niggle inside of you saying or whispering that you have to do this, or you have to take a chance on this, but you are very fearful, and you are putting up a face. You're very conflicted. There's an inner conflict in you, and right now the current energy is this: delays, setbacks, not communicating with your person, or not communicating at all, keeping it all to yourself. Let us get more cards or clarifications for this situation for our dear Aquarius. For 8 of Wands, please, no communication, delays, uphill battle, everything just seems to be not working in your favor. But there is a deception here that I am picking up on, and perhaps this deception is what you could be lying to your person. You could be saying something just to so you could please them. You could be dealing with a very rigid person, if not manipulative or controlling person. Somebody here is missing out on an opportunity, a career opportunity, missing out on abundance. Somebody here, I feel, is holding you back to get whatever it is that you want. And it is very influential to this energy of insecurity, of fear of doing the right choice. Doing the right choice, or fear of taking a leap of faith and starting or planning something new. Strict, rigid, missed opportunities, conflict, constant arguments, chaos, tension. That is what I am picking up. Confrontations, sweeping something under the rug and now it is resurfacing, and it distracts you from what has to be done. It distracts you from making the wrong choice. Somebody here is living in a rose-colored glasses. But for some of you, the other scenario I am also seeing is that for some of you, you are on the verge of a divorce, or you are on the verge of calling it quits with your person because you have found the right one for you. I mean, from the perspective of your person, you are having an affair, but from your perspective, you just found, you just don't want to settle, and you just found the person who is a good match for you. Perhaps for some of you, you could say that you have found your soulmate, and you could have met this at a conference, at work. Let us get more cards. What is the Six of Wands all about? Failure of marriage could be. Your person seems to be, I mean, if you resonate with getting a divorce from your current partner, it seems like what exacerbates the delay, whatever delay that could be, is that your person seems to be very controlling. Your person seems to be telling you what has to be done, what you need to do, and it's smothering. Very analytical, could also be paranoid. Okay, what could be a failure of a relationship that seems to be happening in the future? This is a failure of some sort. Embarrassment could be. I mean, you are trying your best to save this marriage, could be. You're trying your best to save this relationship, but to a point that you are already lying, or to a point that you are already having that dual personality, or being somebody that you are really not. I mean, you're projecting, you're putting a mask on just so you could please your person, and it has been going on for the longest time. You are putting on that mask trying to please your person, but your person is still trying to control you, or there's still the argument doesn't stop. And so you are now thinking of leaving this situation behind, moving on to something new. So whatever this failure is, I am getting is that there seems to be a failure of this connection, or perhaps you are trying your hard, trying hard, so hard just to repair this connection. You could also be going into therapy, couples therapy, or whatever kind of marriage counseling, perhaps. But it's just not working. A failure of this connection means saying yes to yourself, and eventually in the future you would say yes to yourself. This is what I'm getting. There could be a feelings of being lost, feelings like you have lost everything, feelings of not being in touch with your emotional well-being. But I'm seeing it as a failure, not only because it could be a failure of relationship, but it's also you are starting from scratch. I mean, it would get worse before it gets better, and it's something that you may not be ready right now. Restlessness, a lot of energy of restlessness I am getting, and it wouldn't stop. Perhaps that restlessness, that energy of restlessness has been going on since in the past, but it is still progressing into the present moment, and it will still get worse, or it will still get a hard, it will give you a hard blow in the future. Not only because you would lose your, it almost gives off that energy that you would lose everything. You would lose everything just so you could say yes to yourself. And I strongly feel that you are leaning towards that energy of saying yes to yourself. Look at that, finally finding that me time, being in touch with yourself, in touch with your well-being, finally realizing that you need some time for yourself. You are saying yes to yourself, but you would lose everything in the long run. You would lose your relationship, perhaps you would lose your job, could be, but the universe is telling you now it's nothing compared to this. It's nothing compared to saying yes to yourself. I mean, your person could be that rigid, that abusive, and they're not realizing it, all because both of you think that both of you are your soulmates. Or perhaps for some of you, as I've mentioned earlier, perhaps you have found your soulmate. I apologize for that unequal parts of light. I'm liking it, but I hope you're not annoyed by it. I mean, you have been putting up this face for the longest time, and right now you are slowly wanting to get rid of that mask. You don't want to live a dual life anymore. You want to say yes to yourself, but you feel that it is unfair to your person. You would want to get out of this. You're losing that breath. You are being smothered. You can't breathe anymore. But if you choose to free yourself from this situation, you have that guilty feeling, that guilt that that it's unfair for your person. So perhaps that is what the struggle is right now. Whatever it is that you choose, dear Aquarius, you would lose it. It will fail. So might as well say yes to yourself and follow your gut feel, because no matter how long you stretch your patience, no matter how hard you try to make this work, if it is not meant to work, it will not work. It will just be an incessant argument, more delays, or gaslighting, not talking, lying. it will just be magnified. That energy of flying, of projection, of putting up a face, of fear, of insecurity, of more delays. It will just be delayed forever if you don't choose yourself. Regardless of whether you choose to stay or not, there is a trade-off. There is an exchange for that. I'm not saying that you have to choose your person, stick up with him or her. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you have to follow your gut feel, follow and say yes to yourself. If there's too much rigidity, no matter what you choose, there's something that you would have to, there's a trade-off for that. There's something that you would have to exchange. There's an equivalent exchange for whatever it is that you choose. Whatever it is that you choose, you would barter something else, and it seems like that is something that you are not that you are very fearful of. You don't want to take that leap of faith because you are fearful that you would lose something. But whatever it is that you choose, whether you choose yourself or whether you choose you stick around, there is a repercussion for that. So don't be afraid to choose what your gut feel says. Okay, so let's get what the universe wants you to know. Mental torture, anguish. I mean, you will be guilty for it, sure, but do you really want to stick around with somebody who lives in rose-colored glasses, who is very rigid, who doesn't care about your well-being? Or of course they do. Do you want to stick around, but you would miss opportunities in your career? I mean, what would you choose? Whatever it is that you choose, there's a trade-off for that. So just accept the trade-off and move forward. Elixir of life. I told you, before it gets better, it will get worse. So that you could be experiencing anxiety, depression, feeling like the world is against you, you are so down, there's no reason for you to leave. Oh, come on. Maybe you should speak with your friends. Maybe you should seek for emotional support. Maybe you should go seek professional help. Maybe you should go be part of a community who cares about you. If you belong into that community of sharing your life, it's like an Alcoholics Anonymous. If you bring yourself into that kind of a support group, you would realize that your problem is in no way big. It's not big enough compared to other people's shit. So it's time for you to give yourself permission to heal. It's time for you to give yourself permission to transform, to accept that flower, to accept the blossoming, to accept that growth, to accept that blooming life, to receive the energy of life. Healing. This is a card of healing, and it's time for you, dear Aquarius, to give yourself permission to heal, to say yes to yourself. Have that bath. Have that self-love journey. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to your healing. Make your choice right now, because don't prolong the agony. Okay, so I guess I would have to leave it at that. Thank you for being here, there, Aquarius, and I hope to see you soon. The continuation of this reading is in the link in the description box below. Thank you for being here, and see you next time. Bye.